Where I'm going with this is when we think about the backlash, like defund the police or just some of the conflict that takes place. How do you address that in law enforcement? And because, one of the things I think about is the thin blue line. And I get it. There's a camaraderie and a brotherhood that exists in law enforcement. Same thing happened in the military. But when you have that, to this great responsibility comes, or to this great power comes great responsibility. So it's how do you make sure that the people in law enforcement aren't abusing the system, right? Yeah. And I'll give you some examples. I want you to address that, and then I'll give you some examples of stuff that I see that I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. And I'm going to start it off with tying back into a question you asked earlier. The biggest challenges, unfortunately for me, when I took over December of 2019, it was shortly thereafter that we had
COVID did something happen?
Within months.
Yeah.
And so now we're trying to maneuver and strategically plan and try to forecast for what comes now. What does this look like? We've never dealt with this. And as sheriff, you're the emergency manager for the county. Even in our county policy and procedures manual, it identifies the sheriff as the emergency management czar, if you will. And so right out of the gate, we're dealing with that. And then shortly thereafter, within 6 months, we're into the whole defund the police, Black Lives Matter, social unrest. And so that was two of the biggest challenges I ever dealt with, more than the worst case, of whatever crime was committed, was trying to deal with those. But to answer the question about the social unrest, and again, man, I'll say it, this community showed up, and that's what I love. And I know that this podcast, allredding, tries to promote the positive in Redding, and this is a prime example of it. Is we had there were some demonstrations, there were some people out with their signs and all that, but the amount of support that we got on the other side, the flip side of that, here in Redding, was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So that in and of itself, we had people bringing in baked goods and bringing them into the substations and dropping off thank you notes and classrooms doing thank you cards.